It's War Dragon time. Hey everyone, RPW here with another Back to the Basics right here on my channel. Now, today we're going to be going over dragon classes. And what are these? These are the 4 basic types of dragons, not including elements or names or spell sets, but these are just the types of dragons that are in the game of War Dragons. Now, originally there was 3 up until the summer of this year of 2019. Which is the Invokers. So we're going to be going over the 4 different ones and what makes them unique so that you can better understand how to utilize these dragons to your advantage. Now, for the basic player, hopefully this helps you out. For those of you a little more advanced, it might be generalized info. Now, don't forget before you leave to, of course, subscribe to my channel today, share this video with others, comment, and hit that thumb button to show me some support. And of course, if you have not already, subscribe and hit that bell. All right, so the first dragon type I want to go over today is the Sorcerer dragon. Now, if you're a little guy, you'll probably know what the Sorcerer is because of Kanara, for example. This isn't Kanara, this is Lumeric, but these are the dragons that have these long, slim bodies. And they usually have all their legs, front and back. And they're going to have a very thin appearance to them. And they're just, they're just more the feminine style, if you ask me. I call them she's personally. So that is what a sorcerer looks like. But what are 5 fun facts about these dragons? Well, first of all, they're indicated by the logo of the 3 fireballs, as you see here on the left-hand side. Now, they will target their attacks up to 3 targets, but you have to swipe to attack those targets. And of course, they're known for their overall spell casting. These dragons are, as they're named, sorcerers. So they use sorcery to kill bases. However, they are known as some of the weakest of dragons. So keep that in mind when you're flying these dragons, that if you can add, some type of resist to them or a shield as an added boost, it can very well help you utilize these dragons better. So let's go ahead and go in and fly one real quickly with you. I'm not going to use a little dragon. We're going to use something a little bigger. But I just want to give you the basic concept of how to fly a sorcerer. All right, so we're going to use my alt as an example. If you guys need something to fly on, I'm keeping these little ones on here for missions. But we're going to hit my alt today. It is a very easy base for me, so this isn't going to be about how to fly well. This is just the basic flight pattern or flight style of a sorcerer. We don't need those boosts. Now you'll notice on this sorcerer, she has a specific set of abilities. One is the Spiritual Guardian. Now, if you ever see something like this on the very front, that's probably going to indicate that it has some type of dragon warrior in front of them that helps, absorb some of the attack. And then, of course, we'll put out a little bit of attack for you to help you out through it. Now, what's great is if you're a big dragon and you're hitting a tiny little base, sometimes that dragon does it all for you. And that's what I call the autopilot. The second one here is a Spear Salvo. And what this is going to do is shoot out multiple projectiles and hit the targets in front of me. Static Blast is going to do a overall amount of damage across a certain area. And this dragon has Dark Flak resist. Now, in the larger dragons cast, this is a great resist because, as I said, sorcerers have a much weaker, element to them. So if they have a good resist, they're generally a great dragon. And Dark Flax is something you see across many bases once you get to a certain level. So with a dragon that has a good resist, you might want to keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and do a basic attack with this dragon so I can show you exactly how a sorcerer flies. If it will begin. Okay, so if you'll notice, it's telling me swipe over multiple targets in order to target them, right? And when you swipe across, it's going to allow you to hit up to 3 targets in one hit. You can also put your fingers on either side and just kind of hover over everything, and it automatically does it for you. You don't actually have to swipe. You can just simply put 2 fingers on either side of the screen and hold down, and it's going to do the swiping for you. Pretty cool stuff, really. So there's a little neat trick for you. But overall, all you have to do is simply swipe across the screen. It's very relaxing, honestly, playing these dragons. I think so. And as you're swiping, the fireballs will come out and hit the target. Ah, such a beautiful thing to watch these things just explode, right? There's something really relaxing about flying dragons. And for me, the Sorcerer can be a very relaxing, like I said, situation. Probably one of the reasons I love to fly them. It's just a way to relax and unwind for the day. Although if the base is too easy, guys, be careful. I've been known to fall asleep. So make sure there's a tiny bit of a challenge. Speaking of challenge, hunters are the dragons you want to use on a base that's going to be a lot more challenging for you, because they're going to be the dragon that's going to help you through that base. Now, one thing you'll notice about a hunter is they don't have arms. Most of the time you'll see their arms kind of built into their wing pattern, right? So they have this different body appeal to them. They are, a little more slender like the Sorcerer, but they're not generally as long. And as I say, their arms, there's not really a front set of arms in their body. So they're a little bit more tucked away in a way than a Sorcerer, but they're pretty cool looking, and probably the most sought out dragon in events where everybody's looking, what's the hunter going to be like this season? So the hunter is probably the populated vote of the favorite dragon class. Now, 5 fun facts about hunters. First of all, they're indicated by a logo of a huge fireball like you see here on the left-hand side, but like the Sorcerer, the fireball, but only one in this case. Now, they have a singular attack with a limited amount of ammunition, and you can actually tap on targets to attack them. They're known for their swift abilities, and what I mean by this is, for example, they can cloak, they can lock things down, they can evade, whatever it might be. They can actually take, energy from your towers and regain rage or health. And then, of course, in the same sense that they can lose ammunition when they use it, you can actually rebuild it over time as well. So these dragons do have a much different type of spell cast to them, but it's utilized usually in your active flying. So if you're going to gain something back, it's going to be because you're actively killing something, where the Sorcerer may gain something or utilize something that's not as active. Now, I do want to go through and fly a base with you again, except we're going to use a hunter this time. And it's going to be, of course, my own base. And I'm going to use, let's use Scorpa. Scorpa's fun, right? So if we go in with Scorpa, you notice, again, Scorpa has no hands. The hands are actually into her wings. And this hunter has an adaptive flak resist. She has the cloak, which is, or actually it's in shroud because it's white, but this is going to be something that allows her to hide from the towers. Blood Fury, which again, remember how I say they're more active? So Blood Fury is one that when she activates it, or he activates it, whenever you tap and you start to destroy a tower, it'll give you back health. And it actually gives you a little bit of rage too. And then Caustic Spines, which allows damages to take damage. It's kind of like a big breath that it puts out, basically. So let's go ahead and do an attack, and we'll try to use some of these spells so that you can see what they're about. Now, first of all, the base that I'm hitting is all level 1 towers, so the Blood Fury is not going to do much good. But if I click in Shroud, you'll notice that the towers aren't looking at me. They can't see me. I can use 3 fingers to tap 3 at a time, 2 fingers to tap, 2 at a time, or just once. Now, keep in mind of what the tower levels are, because sometimes you only need 1 tap. Why do this and use up all your ammunition for one simple little tower? See how it's using that up on the right-hand side? So if I tap, 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 tap over and over and over, it's going to take up all the ammunition. You don't always need to tap, tap, tap. With this level 1s, I only need to hit everything 1 time, and it prevents my ammunition from being used up as much. This is actually a mistake I used to make. Oh, my BFF Kevin Durkin helped me with it. So again, keep in mind of those things. Now let's watch Caustic Spells. It is a white spell, so whenever it goes out, even if there's mage towers there, it's going to be able to put that spell out on them. It's not something you're going to see in the lower style dragons. Now over here, we're going to actually take out the blue mage so that we can use this Blood Fury. And you'll notice on the top right hand side, the blue giving me back health, and that is from that spell. But again, it's an active spell. You could actually utilize it. So you can actually do the same thing with farms. You'll watch it go up. And like I said, just keep in mind that sometimes overkilling with the hunter, you'll notice up there in the red where I'm overkilling, is going to take your ammunition faster. So you can use things like Enshroud or Cloak to gain that back. Now, what about the warrior? The warriors are usually going to be a lot bulkier looking. They're going to have both hands and legs like the sorcerer, but they're going to have a more like bulky appearance, like they're on steroids or something, like they're lifting weights. And I think this is because they tend to be a little bit more brute when it comes to, towers attacking them. And you're also going to notice that they tend to be a little more earthly looking. At least I've noticed. They tend to have a true, earthly element to them, like a little more like an animal. Now, the warriors, there are 5 fun facts on them as well, are indicated by the logo of the flame. If you'll notice right here, it's like a flame-throwing logo that spreads the flames everywhere. Now, they have a constant flow of flame attack, which is why it's that logo. So you're going to be able to utilize this by dragging over the targets to attack them. They are known for strength and endurance. Like, they can really get through a really rough base, but because it's like that, they do feel very bulky and slow when you fly them. And honestly, they can be a little boring. All right, so we're going to take the warrior out now. And first of all, before we take him out, I'm going to take Goda. And again, he has these spell sets here. First one is Rising Temper, which is a passive dragon that has increased breath damage. And then you've got the shield, which is a molten barrier, which blocks all projectiles and beam attacks. And the eruption. Now, you'll notice when we fly this dragon that, even without resists, they're pretty darn brute, as I was saying before. It's like they're on steroids. And most of the time you're going to notice that, most warriors are going to either have a shield or something that prevents them from being hit. They're going to have something that's more explosive or something that is going to give them an increased attack power. That's most cases, not every case, but let's go ahead and jump in so I can show you what the basics of a warrior is. Now, as we said, the sorcerer is more of a swipe, where a hunter is more, a tap, but the warrior is more like dragging. So you're going to take your fire and you're going to drag it around the screen, and you're going to put it on things that you need to blow up. Now, keep in mind, unlike the hunter and the sorcerer, you got to be a little bit closer to some things. Like, if it's a little too far away, you're going to have a little harder time reaching that target. So it is more of a close-up attack, but because it's a little more brute, it's not that big of a deal. One thing you can do is hit between towers, and you can actually use 2 different fingers, but one will kind of glitch a little bit. It won't put out a full amount. It's like it kind of goes back and forth. But I have noticed you can do that. You could put out several fingers and put out flames at once. I don't know if that was a design meant to be, but that is something you can do. But you'll notice one will be a little less than the others. Now, to show you an example of what these things do, here's the shield. And when I put up the shield on this dragon, it's lava, and it prevents projectiles and beams from coming in. Now, I would use that one, but I got to take out the red first, the red mages. And when it explodes, it takes everything out, and it gives me back health. So pretty cool. Very, very cool dragon. But again, warriors can be something that can be very slow to go and kind of boring in general. But they are brutes. So if you have trouble playing with certain dragons because of your hands, like some of you might have arthritis or whatever it might be, this is a great dragon to use because it's going to allow you to have a much easier time when flying your dragon. Now, unlike the first 3 dragons that we just went over, which was the sorcerer, hunter, and warrior, the invoker isn't something you're going to see, at least anytime soon, that I would think, in the breeding den. So you're not going to be able to make these dragons, but you can earn them as an event dragon within the season. And this is literally a dragon that they brought out over the summer of 2019, which is a beautiful concept of a dragon. It is supposed to be the mixture between a sorcerer and a hunter. So it has more of that hunter body style, but in this case, it has no legs. It's like angelic in a way. Now, 5 fun facts about the Invoker. Number 1, They're indicated by the logo that kind of looks like a claw. The invoke attack is more like a tap, 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 boom style. And like I said, it is a newer class of dragon, so it's not something you're going to be able to breed. It's known for the Invoker spell, which is the 4th attack where it says boom. And the ammo on this must be rebuilt over time to use it again. So if you go tap, tap, boom, or I'm sorry, tap, 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 boom, and all of a sudden you don't have any ammo, you got to wait for that to rebuild before you can hit anything, which can make this dragon a little bit more challenging. So Shogroth. Shogroth is a great example of a Invoker dragon. I mean, look at it. It's so cool. So to me, the Invoker dragon, like I said, is pretty angelic. It just hovers, and this one's not very angelic in a, kind of way by any means. But its spells are going to be different than that you see on others. And what I mean by that is, yes, it has, there's a cloak spell here, basically, and here's a dragon breath attack. That's something you'll see on most, any type of dragon. But its first one is an invoke, okay? The invokes are passive spells, so you don't have to worry about it being something where a red mage or blue mage is going to prevent you from utilizing, at least at this point. They may one day change that, but as of right now, the invoke is a passive, but not really passive. It is something you use, but it's considered like a passive spell. Now, in this one, the invoke is assimilate. So those are two separate things. Invoke is that last 4th attack, and assimilate is the actual spell. Now, whenever you use this, it's going to deal bonus damage across an entire area, but it's also going to help restore your health to any towers that you destroy. Now, let's go ahead and go for an attack on my base, my alt space, and show you exactly how you use the Invoker. All right, so with this dragon, you're going to go tap, 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 and you notice up on the top right-hand side, there's only one more left, and nothing's refilling because I haven't used it yet. So when I click that last one, boom, it sends out an entire attack. And this one actually has where it'll help regenerate it a little faster, I believe. So tap, tap, boom. Messed up. And once it's refilled, we can use it again. Put out 3 taps, then it takes out the first 3, and then boom. So it's a pretty cool dragon. I think this concept is really neat, personally. But see, if you use 2 fingers, it's going to use 2 of those dots. He's got his Invoker spell ready. And so far, none of them seem to be resistant with Mage Tower, so you don't have to worry about that being a problem. Again, he's got his Invoker spell ready. So the red mage and the blue mage at this point isn't something that's going to prevent you from utilizing that dragon. Pretty cool stuff, right? He really puts out some pretty cool stuff, I think. Boom. So again, it's just knowing that you tap, tap, boom. So with that being said, that's how you're going to fly the Invoker, but you're really going to have to get in there and play with these dragons. The Invoker specifically is going to have very specific sets that's going to decide how you fly that dragon. Like if you're going to save and conserve your spell, or if you're going to use your spell in certain areas, or if you're going to, save back your taps. So keep that in mind when you do fly this dragon, that he is going to be a little more challenging. And to get him, again, you're going to have to get him in the events. I certainly hope that any of you that are trying to learn the different classes of dragons out there and the way that they all work differently, that this helps you have a better understanding of that. If you know somebody that is new to the game and is struggling with this, be sure to share this video with them. I really think it could help out those newbies out there. Anyways, guys, I wish you guys the best of luck and happy flying.